fit into the context of
to bring LED lighting to the developing world. LUTW has installed solar LED lighting systems that have illuminated the lives of over 1.2 million poor people in 54 countries. In recognition of Dave's services to humanity, he has received the following awards. And by the way, it's a long list, so bear with me. I do think they're worth reading out. The Rolex Laureate. I was wondering if that isn't more for developing a really, really great watch, but anyway, okay. Tech Museum Laureate, Saatchi and Saatchi Laureate, the Alberta Emerald, Reader's Digest Canadian Hero of the Year, Alberta Science and Technology, Time Canada Heroes Meritorious Service Medal, DMSN for Canada, the Alberta Government Centennial Medal, an honorary doctorate from the University of Aberdeen, Scotland, and the KY Low Medal of the Engineering Institute of Canada. He's also been the finalist for IEEE Innovation Awards, London, UK, and many more. And that's just the list for the finalists and not for the runner-up. Okay, so it's really quite impressive. In 2009, he founded VLE and is at present actively taking care of the product design and international marketing within VLE. So if you could please join me in welcoming Dr. Dave Irvine-Halliday.
Thank you very much. It's funny when you listen to people talking about you, it's like they're talking about someone else. Anyway, wish I could walk around, but if I can't, then too bad. Okay.
Nice that we do advance the slides.
Nah, it's okay. Just go on with it. Anyway, you've saved me some time because you've given a bit of the background which I don't have to cover. How long do I have again?
You've got an hour.
Oh, okay, hey, great. Time for. So we're good to go. Is working? Hello. Can you? Is this working? Okay. I must admit, as I got older, I realised the importance of using the mic, because a lot of people think my voice projects, but the old guys at the back can't hear.
Why don't you walk around and volunteer?
Oh, great. Super. Yeah, thank you. I don't know whether it's nervous energy or not, or whether you want to feel closer to certain people. Anyway, okay, let's go to the first one. Some of the objectives. Because you're never sure just what kind of audience you've got, you don't want to be too techy, you don't want to be too superficial. But the idea is that because I'm hoping that this I love, kind of project, whatever, will really, go somewhere. I try to slant this presentation to show people just what's involved and what we've done, what other people have done, and maybe some of the ways we can go. And last but not least, because I hear that's me. Or did I hit the wrong one?
Just the blackout button, just hit any key again.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll figure it out. I'm an engineer. But yeah, the fact is that for young people, young students, there really is a terrific opportunity to work in various areas: renewable energy, lighting, energy generation, storage, etc., for the developing world. And I think what I'm trying to say there is, it's one thing to have a good challenging job, but it's even better if you have a good challenging job where you know you're doing something that's really worthwhile for humanity. Now let's see if we can change that. Oh, wrong way. That's the end. Here. Okay, you've seen this, but it is important just to remember that we have too much light in the overdeveloped world. We waste a heck of a lot of light, whereas what we're interested in is the so-called developing world. I don't even like that expression, because that seems to insinuate that we're developed. I'm not sure that we are. But, so there's this conflict between too much light and not enough light. You've seen these numbers, they vary from 1.2 billion to 1.5 billion to whatever. As we like to say, it really doesn't matter too much. What's a few hundred million between friends? Except if you're one of these, a few hundred million. But what I think is particularly, we have a laser pointer on this, okay, these numbers, okay, you'll notice that the yellow one says millions of people who have no electricity, okay, the yellow boxes. I think the other one, the kind of maroon type colour, people who lack electricity. You see the numbers in Africa, 500, 600, million, Asia, 500 million kind of thing. One of the sad things is that I think it's the IEEE announced the other month or whatever, or very recently, that even in 10 years or so, there might be actually more people who don't have electricity in certain locations, just simply because populations are growing so fast, even though these regions might actually be getting renewable energy-based, lighting, etc. And freedom's a word that I use a lot in my life, so I won't go on about it, but my company's products are called freedom this, freedom that, because it's just so fundamental. I made a joke yesterday about being Scottish and how education was so important right from the very beginning. That if you could read, write, and do arithmetic, you can basically do anything. You don't really need an engineering degree to succeed. But billions of people aren't quite in that situation. But I don't think it's an exaggeration, just to say that that lighting has enormous ripple effects. When we started, this was my wife and I back in '97, all we could see was, hey, if we can provide light for children to study, that's it. We've made our kind of contribution, and hopefully, these kids will go on to greater things. And then, because I was so ignorant in the beginning, we didn't realize the social benefits, the health benefits, the safety benefits, and probably most important of all, from a realistic point of view, the economic benefits. They really are immense in terms of kind of global impact. Did I hit the wrong button again? Hit the middle button, he said.
Right arrow.
Thanks. Okay, there's just a number of slides I'm going to go through very quickly, just to give you an idea of the reality, the work that we did with Light Up the World in the beginning, okay, leading to my kind of transfer of hats from an NGO to a for-profit social enterprise. But in the beginning, okay, the kerosene wick lamps, okay, the get this right, the wrong way, sorry, okay, various methods of generating electricity. We've tried as many of them as we can realistically, and I shouldn't use the word obviously, but the Pico Hydro was certainly very large in our initial work, for sure. And this little guy, where was this thing? Okay, the little Pico Hydro, the Chinese bike dynamo, quite interesting to say the least. Okay, solar photovoltaic and pedal generators. Most of my work these days is involved with solar, and if anyone wonders why, and you probably don't, but just in case you do, I'll tell you. Okay, Many of us in the beginning thought, oh, solar, it's too fragile, it's too expensive, which it certainly was in the beginning. But nowadays, it's really come down. We buy it in Hyderabad, you know, for significantly less than $1 a watt. Okay, that's in our hands. Okay, for anything from, you know, small panels to, you know, fairly large panels. Large by our standards is like 100 watts. Okay, so but one of my favourites is still the pedal generator. You know, and it's not something that we're going to use in bulk, because one of the things I have learned over the last, you know, 15, 20 years almost, is if you can't scale something, then, you know, it's not really as useful as you might think. You know, it's okay maybe for a few dozen, a few hundred, but we're talking millions. We're talking hundreds of millions, and you have to be in that mindset. But nevertheless, I still like pedal generators because they're very simple, and they work 24 hours a day, because the wind doesn't, the solar doesn't, okay, and pedal generators are, you know, they've got advantages. Okay, well, this has already been mentioned to you. That we started in '97, so I can skip over that. By the way, I've left a copy of these slides, should anybody want them, with IEEE, so please be my guest. Just some historical sort of marks in a sense, okay, just to show you that we've been in this business for a wee while. In 1999, Jenny, that's my wife and I, you know, we trekked up to Annapurna Base Camp, and I had with me, I believe, the first kind of linear LED lamp in the world. It was basically only 6, well actually you had a couple, 6 diodes, these 5mm Nichia diodes, and 12 diodes. But anyway, the point was that, you know, we had this, these guys played chess, so I said, well, would you like some light other than your torchlight? So it went down really, really well. And being at over 4,000 meters kind of added a certain thing to it. I was actually on an Everest expedition as base camp engineer. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford the $10,000 for the permit to climb. But back in 2000, and Tim Ripple, a Canadian friend of ours, he was, I believe, you can always stand to be corrected, but I believe Tim was the first ever person on Everest to have an LED headlamp, and we actually, I made this lamp in base camp. Nowadays, I think everybody uses LEDs, and they certainly should anyway. And also in 2000, the middle slide there, Jenny and I started a company in Kathmandu, a legal company called Pico Power Nepal. We owned it for 7 minutes, okay, and then we signed it over to the young lady in the middle there, and you'll see her dad, her name's Inyan. She has a MBA, etc. now, so she's very well, better educated than me in business. So she runs the business now, still running very, very well. And for the first 4 or 5 years, Light Up the World, this is the NGO that Jenny and I started, we procured all of our product, all of our hardware from Kathmandu, from Pico Power Nepal. Oh, I gotta go backwards there. Okay, yeah, that's the fellow on the left there, that's Moody. There are times in your life when you look back, you realise this is a turning point, or this was one of the most important sort of things to happen in my life. And I have to say, without question, meeting Muni Raj was probably the most important thing that happened in my life. You know, simply because if I hadn't met him, there might not have been a Light Up the World. You know, this guy, he's a technical wizard, etc. And I was somebody who was visiting from Canada for, you know, 4 or 5 months. I had to go back and teach at the university, so without him as a partner, things just would not have evolved as they did. So I think I historically, just for the record, the first village or community, if you want to put it like that, in the world to be lit was lit in June of 2000. It happens to be a Buddhist community, but in case you think I'm biased, I left it to my Nepalese friends to choose whether to do the Hindu village or the Buddhist village, because there were two villages that we did within 2 or 3 days of each other. And they chose, for whatever reason, the Buddhist village. Oh, wrong here. I'm not learning very quick, am I? One of the things that, this is old hat to many of you guys now, but in 1999, I noticed that when Jenny and I were trekking and meeting the different villagers, you know, when we were kind of demonstrating our lamps, etc., that they had lots of torches. And the torches were, you know, the kind of $1 metal torch with 3D cells in it. And one of the things that I wasn't aware of, but that I very quickly learned, was that the bulbs break very easily. You drop it and, you know, that's it. Bulb's broken, so you have to get another one. And it caused a lot of problems. Hopefully we've got by that now. But anyway, so I started to think, well, I wonder if we could make an LED torch. So long story short, I bought half